Hello, I'm the 10-minute English teacher. Let's get you exam ready. Today we're thinking about Macbeth by William Shakespeare, and I'm going to be providing you with a guide to Act 1. Before we move on, thank you to everyone who's liked and subscribed. Make sure you do if you haven't done. Lots and lots of things on the channel to help you revise and lots of updates to come. Okay, so Act 1 for Macbeth. Let's make you an Act 1 expert. In front of you now are some key images. Each one of those relates to something that happens in Act 1. And by the end of our time together, you should be able to explain clearly what happens in Act 1. It starts with three witches together planning to meet Macbeth when he passes by. They say fair is foul and foul is fair, which tells us their intentions are evil and foreshadows disruption to order later in the play. Basically, things are going to be turned upside down. King Duncan hears of Macbeth's bravery. So he's the King of Scotland, and he hears that in the battle with the Norwegians, Macbeth and Banquo have been very, very brave and courageous. He's asked, were they dismayed? And he's told, as sparrows, eagles, or the hare, the lion. So hearing about Macbeth's bravery impresses him, and he sends his messengers to tell Macbeth that he's to be made the Thane of Cawdor and get himself a bigger castle to boot. The witches then meet Macbeth. So they intercept Macbeth and Banquo when they're on their way home from battle. They greet him as Thane of Glamis, then hail him as Thane of Cawdor, and finally as king. Banquo is also spoken to by the witches, and he's told that he will be lesser than Macbeth, but greater. After they disappear, the king's messengers Ross and Angus appear when they've gone and tell Macbeth that he needs to go and see King Duncan to celebrate becoming Thane of Cawdor. So one of those prophecies comes true almost immediately. Then Macbeth goes to King Duncan's castle and dark thoughts arise. He thinks about the last Thane of Cawdor, King Duncan does, who's been executed for being a traitor, and he says there's no art to find the mind's construction in the face. And then Macbeth arrives. So the idea of being two-faced and duplicitous is clearly something that's a key motif in the play. And it's ironic that it's Macbeth that turns up the moment that Duncan's talking about how you can't really tell someone's true intentions from their face. Macbeth is called worthiest cousin, but is beginning to have sinister thoughts about becoming king, and he says, let not light see my dark, black and deep desires. So we know that he's already starting to think about offing Duncan secretly to himself. After that scene, we've got Lady Macbeth plotting regicide, which is a bit of a swanky word for killing of the monarch. So Lady Macbeth reads the news from Macbeth in a letter she's received, but worries he is too full of the milk of human kindness to become king. She says, hie thee hither so I may pour my spirits in thine ear. So she wants to encourage and manipulate Macbeth into killing King Duncan. He arrives home and tells her that Duncan is on his way to stay with them, and she decides that they should kill him. Macbeth protests, but it is clear who makes the decisions in their relationship. After that, Duncan arrives for his sleepover at the Macbeth castle, and he's impressed by it. He says, this castle has a pleasant seat, which means it's in a really nice place. He's quite impressed, and he's greeted by Lady Macbeth and we see her duplicitous side. She says anything he needs will be twice done and then done double. Then the plan is confirmed. So Macbeth and his wife speak of their plan to kill King Duncan. Macbeth protests again and tells his wife that Duncan has honoured them of late. But Lady Macbeth tells Macbeth she'd rather have taken a baby from her breast and have dashed the brains out than let him down. And Macbeth tries pitifully to protest, but she overcomes his will and he agrees to kill King Duncan. Okay, so there are those key images for the significant moments that take place in Act 1. What you should be able to do is have a look at those now and be able to write down a sentence or two for each image to be able to plot all of the action for Act 1. Okay, check out the other videos on my channel. I'll continue to add content. Feel free to ask for something you'd like to see me cover in the comments section. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share, and keep revising.